Yeah.
I love the Ninja Turtles.
I love cheese pizza.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to Durbania. I'm Durbin.
I'm MMA Mexican.
And we're going to read way too much into Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The first one, the 2014 first one. What'd you think of this movie?
I liked it. I liked it a lot. Brought back memories of my childhood.
Yeah.
You know, when you're a kid, you know, everything's awesome.
Yes. Yeah.
And I had the toys and the van that opened up.
I had that van.
Yes.
The van that shot the sewer lids and everything.
Shot the lids on the thing. You hit the button. Oh, it was great.
It was so awesome.
The ooze that got all over my mom's carpet, but I had to have it or I was going to cry the whole time, you know.
I don't think I had the ooze because my mom was very strict about, you know, messes and cleanliness.
Right. I had the ooze and it made a mess.
I think there's only one way I could have walked out of that first Ninja Turtles movie and not liked it. And that is if they did the Turtles wrong. Like, if that rumor that they were aliens instead of mutagen was true, I don't think I would have liked this movie as much because then it's like, well, that's not the Ninja Turtles. That's just aliens that look like turtles. So I'm so glad that that didn't happen. And I'm very glad they made even a joke out of that in the movie.
Yes.
The other thing is I just felt like they captured the true spirit of the Turtles. Yeah. Like, I felt like these are the Turtles I grew up with. And it was so awesome.
Yeah, I love, you see all their personalities.
Yes, their personalities were not changed.
No.
Yeah.
It was exactly like the cartoons growing up and everything.
And the old movies.
And the old movies.
I was sad that people were complaining that the CGI Turtles look so bad because I was like, well, what do you want? You want the Muppets to return?
Right.
Like, seriously? I mean, I know they look different. They just look like turtles.
I feel like we're in a CGI type of world now, you know?
Yeah.
Everything's CGI.
Which sometimes that stinks.
Yeah.
Sometimes you want to see more practical. But, you know, for things like the Turtles, it's like, I'm glad it's CGI in the motion capture suit because it looks better than the Muppets.
Yeah, and you can do a lot more with it.
Yes. Like their
Way
facial
more
expressions
and stuff.
Oh,
and,
yeah.
Yeah, the details of the shell, you know, you see their muscle strands.
Yes, it was so awesome. You could like tell that their skin is like all rough and things like that. So like
it's like leather.
Yeah, it was because they're reptiles.
Yeah.
So like there were so many things like that I thought was so cool. So I don't know. I think the movie had its weaknesses, and for me, the biggest glaring weakness was the whole end when they're fighting on the roof to stop the Shredder's thing from releasing, because basically that was the ending of The Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah, it was totally that.
I mean, it was the lizard guy with his thing and Spider-Man trying to stop it. It was that scene.
Yeah, I was waiting the whole time for Splinter to say, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. And then, you know, a lawyer walk up, bam, you know, you're being sued.
Yes.
But,
so that was I guess that was my biggest negative of the movie.
And for me, it was, you know, Splinter. I wish there was more Splinter in the movie. I was like, they give you like a clip of him. He's like learning all this ninjutsu. And you're like, sweet. And then all of a sudden, like, he gets in this fight with Shredder, and it was the most epic scene I've ever seen.
It was so epic.
You know, like, the Shredder's throwing knives at him, he's ducking them, you know, Neo couldn't even duck all those, you know?
I know. And there goes Splinter, you know?
And I was like, this guy's amazing, and then that's all they give you of him.
Yeah.
At least in the old Ninja Turtles, he kind of comes back with a little bow and arrow, and he's like, oh, ninja power, you know, and so I wanted to see more of him.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I could agree with that. I mean, the moves he's doing it with his tail. That was just awesome.
Yeah, I was hoping he would come back like right at the end, you know, and just make one last little cameo, and he didn't, but his fighting scene was amazing, and I wanted more of it. So, no, I enjoyed it. It was fun. Actually, you know, my mom, when she saw the previews of it, she's like, I want you and your brother to come, like, let's go back, like, kind of bring him back awesome, you know? So she's like, we're doing this as a family, you know? So, no, it was a fun movie for everyone.
Yeah.
You know, little kids can enjoy it. Parents can enjoy it.
Everybody
the action, you know. So it was great. There's comedy. There was everything you need in a movie, you know, for, you know, to enjoy.
I mean, who doesn't love talking turtles that have learned the art of ninja from a talking rat who got it out of a book? Seriously.
Right?
Yeah.
I wanted my turtle to talk, but he never talked.
Oh, yeah. I had a turtle once. I named him Leonardo, then changed it to Raphael, then changed it to Michelangelo, then landed on Turdy.
Oh, nice. Mine was Mr. Turtle. And he ate roly-polies. So.
So if I was going to read way too much into this movie, my favorite turtle has always been Raphael. everybody seems to have their role. Leonardo is the leader. Yeah. Donatello is the inventor. And Michelangelo, he's the carefree party dude. And to think that's not a role, that'd be wrong. That's a role. Everybody needs a carefree party dude in their group that you're like, I wish I could be like that, not care so much about everything.
Everybody's got that one friend, you know.
Yeah, but Raphael doesn't really have a role in the group defined like everybody else.
Yeah.
Because he's got leadership skills, and he himself was kind of a leader. But Leo was chosen to be the leader. Yeah. He's not really a carefree party dude. He's definitely not an inventor. And you see in the very beginning of this movie where he's just like, I'm getting out of here as soon as I can. And he's like, but dude, our hip-hop Christmas album, bro, you're the hype man.
You're the hype man.
Yes.
It's like, come on.
But he's like, no, I'm getting out of here the first chance I get. But then you get to the end of the movie, and this is the one scene I don't like, where they're all tumbling down off that building, and Raphael does that huge cornball speech. I'm sorry. That speech was corny, where he's like, I love you guys, and blah, blah, blah. It's like, oh, come on. You would have hit the ground by now. Seriously?
Yeah.
But, even though I thought it was corny, there was still something very good in that speech, where Raphael made some big admissions there. Like, he admitted that the reason he wanted to get away from his brothers is because he felt like he didn't belong. He didn't feel worthy to stand next to them. He felt that they were all so much better than him. They all got their roles, their things, and he was trying to hype himself up and make himself bigger than he was. And it was really just that fear, that lack of identity that he was finding in the group, where he was trying to push away. It was that lack of identity that was making him just puff up and try to be so big. And it was, he's trying to define himself in that group that way. And it wasn't working. And because it wasn't working, he's like... So he was doing the one thing he shouldn't do, which is to isolate himself and to push himself away from the group and push himself away from his brothers. And that's the last thing you want to do when you're feeling that way and you're vulnerable and you can't find your identity. You don't need to push away.
Yeah.
You need that community. You need that love.
You're stronger as a group versus by yourself. Yeah.
Yes. And so I know in my life I've had jobs where I have define myself by the role that I play in that job.
Yes.
And then when the job itself changes, which means my role changes and I'm doing something else, it becomes very difficult for me. And I sometimes don't always like those other roles. And so now it's like identity crisis because I'm not having that role. And then comes where the problem is. I've been defining my identity by what I do or who I'm around or whatever, rather than defining my identity by the God who made me. Yeah. The worth I have on my life is because Jesus found me so worth it to die for me. He placed that value and he put that worth on me. And if I'm going to that love to find worth and value, that's the right place. That's the thing that I know in my life fills me up. I'm not perfect, so sometimes I go find my identity somewhere else. But it's that relationship with Jesus that really brings out what he's made me to be.
Yeah.
And there's a similar picture in the Ninja Turtles because it was Raphael realizing that what he needed to do was be with his brothers.
Yeah.
He needed to just let the love of his brothers in his heart. He needed to just be in that relationship and not define himself by, this is my role in this group or this, that, or the other. And that was kind of the lesson I think he got towards the end as he was plummeting towards, certain death.
Right? Kind of got humbled a little bit.
He got humbled a little bit. And so, to me, that's like what I read into that movie. Sometimes we try to find our identity, and so we freak out, we puff ourselves up, and then we isolate ourselves. Yes. And I've done it. That ain't the way to do it. When really, it's that relationship with God and that right relationship with other people and just letting that love in our hearts that's where we need to find it.
Definitely. And my read too much into was April O'Neil.
Okay.
I liked her message there that she was kind of getting, like how you said, at work, you kind of get tossed around and you start, you start looking at yourself and looking at your worth and you feel like you don't have any worth. Little did she know her dad's lab where these turtles were and been tested on, catches on fire. They're trying to kill them. She saves these turtles and the rat.
Yeah.
She's like, oh, my little pets, like everybody's like, oh, save them. And so because she did that, they were, later on in the movie, we find out how important that is.
Yeah.
Because then they grow up to be the Ninja Turtles and they grow up to bring hope back to a town that has no hope.
Yeah.
So I loved that point of it. And then the other point I liked is how they explain it to her.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes in life we look at it like we're unimportant. Mm-hmm. She was feeling at that point in her life, you know what? I just got fired from my job. I can't get any worse. And she's like, I'm worthless.
Yeah.
And so in this, a lot of times people will see their life and go, well, I'm not doing anything. It feels like I'm worthless. But little do you know that, God's got a plan for you.
Yeah.
And so we feel like we're the small guy in a small town, nothing's going on. You feel the most unimportant person in the world.
Yeah.
But God's got a big plan for you. Little the little actions that you make, are making a bigger impact somewhere else.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Like that little thing of her just putting the turtles and the rat in the sewer. I mean,
that's simple.
Did she even know they were going to live? She got them out of the fire, just simply put them on the sewer grate.
Exactly. So that was one of the big things for me was, holy smokes, April O'Neil helped and create the Ninja Turtles because she saved them. Like, she's a big point in the movie. If it wasn't like bring your daughter to work day or whatever, that may not have happened.
Exactly. Yeah.
So that's the thing. Sometimes we feel like we're out of place or we're in the wrong spot, but you know what? Just keep grinding and know, there's a better future, you know?
Or sometimes we're thinking it needs to be something big.
Yes.
And that's going to give us that worth. But like you said, that one small act was like one small seed that became something big.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And a lot of times we feel we're unimportant. And Jesus telling us, no, you have amazing worth. You may feel small, but there's great things coming your way. So I always let people know, don't give up. There's something good coming around the corner, So use that message of hope.
Yeah.
That you're going to do great things. You have greatness inside of you.
How many stars would you give this movie?
I gave this movie 4 stars because I really enjoyed it. It was a fun movie to watch. I didn't give it 5 stars because I feel like they could have gone further with them, and more Splinter,
Yeah.
But I love the action. I love the comedy. I love the humor of everything. So I gave it 4 stars because I really walked out of that movie happy.
Yeah. For the same reason that you gave it 4 stars, I gave it 3.5 because I felt like there could have been a little more. I agree. I would have loved to have seen another Splinter fight. I didn't really like that. I felt like the ending was a ripoff, the Amazing Spider-Man. It probably wasn't a ripoff, but it was...
But it was close.
It was really, really, really similar. So a few things like that. That's why I give it 3.5 out of 5 stars. But I still really love this movie. I own it. I put it on in the background sometimes when I'm doing stuff. Like I was editing a video for Durbania. There was Turtles playing in the background. I think it's a really fun movie. It makes me happy when I watch it. It reminds me of my childhood, so I still really enjoy it. Awesome. All right. If you saw Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, the first one in 2014, what did you think of the movie? And most importantly, who is your favorite turtle? Mine's Raphael because it was the first action figure I owned.
Michelangelo, because my name is Michael. And I wanted to be a cool surfer guy and skateboarder and all that.
There you go. Who's your favorite turtle and why? Make sure to let us know in the comments below. I'm Durbin.
I'm MMA Mexican.
Thank you so much for checking out Durbania.